Finally, it's time to tell you how exactly we had a Steam release and what we suffered there. It's been some time since we promised to tell you what happened there in a little bit more detail, and that's actually what we are doing. A little bit background. In summer 2018, we started developing our game, and after about 3.5 years decided to do the release on Steam first. Initially we wanted the game to be paid, but then changed our mind and made it free, but with a paid DLC. By the way, we have something to say about this separately, whether it was a good idea or not, what we did with it later, and what conclusions we made to draw in the future. So, return to the game. We first set the release date on November 25, but then we realized that the release date falls exactly on the sales, and this is not very good. Therefore, we had to postpone the release on December 9, 2021. But as you can see here, the release date is December 10th, and today's whole story is just about how it happened. Although before I start, a few words about why we are making this video at all. On the one hand, I want to whine and grumble a little to share how scary, painful and hard it was for us, but perhaps this material will be useful to someone. What happened before the release? We have saved some screenshots and will periodically appeal to them, and here is just the first one. First, what it is and how to read it. This is the developer console, and the most important thing is these 3 blocks in the top. They talk about what exactly needs to be done to do the release. This screenshot was taken on December 9. Unfortunately, I didn't save the screenshots before December 9, but I'll tell you what happened here. The first block is you need to set up a store page. The second one is you have to prepare the build, and the build, which in turn the build stands for the game file themselves, which will be launched by the player. And the third block is about the release. Specifically, what's written here is once you have completed the following steps, your game will be ready for release. Store page have been visible as coming soon for at least 2 weeks, and the most important part here is earliest possible release December 9, 2021. But there is a nuance. In 2020 we released a demo version on Steam, and we have already gone all this way, all these 3 blocks. We created a store page, we made a build, we sent it for verification, we pressed the release button, and in general all this was done in a miniature, and I was pretty sure what should be waiting for us, which button should be pressed, which stage should come on, and so on. About 2 weeks before the release, we left this page in such a state that there was a big green release button hanging in here, and the only thing left was to just click on it and then the release would happen. Why did we do this? Why didn't we immediately click on this button? The answer is not quite easy, to be honest. At the moment when the development of the game is coming to an end, and in fact not only the game but also any large application, you have to switch the mode if I need this particular feature for the release to happen or not. In programmer's language it's called MVP, minimum viable product. This is a very painful, difficult condition. It's psychologically difficult to approach it, but it's necessary. For example, among other things, one of these features that we didn't include in the MVP is the ending screen, which means that at the time when we send the build to Valve for verification, there was no ending screen yet within the game, but we left ourselves a small time lag where we would have made this screen if we had time, and if we didn't have time, we would have done this just a little bit later after the release. But most importantly, that we wouldn't postpone the release because of this feature. So it comes December 9th. This is the screenshot from December 9th. As you can see, there is no big green beautiful release button in here, and a little bit panic begins. As soon as we saw that there was no button, first hypothesis appeared. What could be the reason? As you can see, there are 2 places where it's written about the release date. The first one is this yellow text, earliest possible release December 9, 2021, and here the second part is planned release date December 9, 2021. Now we know the difference between these two fields, but then we didn't know it very well. In short, the most important date is of course this one, and the date that's indicated here is just needed for the coming soon section. But then we didn't know this, and the first hypothesis appeared. It consisted in the fact that December 9 should come at the time of the PST time zone. And we are in the MSK time zone, and as we can see now, it's 4:05 p.m. MSK and 6:05 a.m. PST. If I'm not mistaken, the clock has been switched since December, so this difference then could differ by 1 hour. In general, the hypothesis was that it should come on December 9 PST time and then the button will appear. But the date of December 9 came, the button didn't appear, and we immediately texted to Steam support. In parallel, we turned to Collective Mind for help. We have a number of slightly more experienced colleagues who already have successful Steam release, but unfortunately none of them helped us. All colleagues confirmed that we did everything correctly, in the right order, but for some reason this damn button doesn't appear. After that, the increased panic mode turned on for a while, where we started pressing all the buttons in a row that we found. We sent the build for the review again, we updated the store page again, and other random actions. Unfortunately, nothing helped. But there is one action displayed here that we did. If the previous screen was the page of the base game, that one that is free, then this is the paid DLC page. It's really a little bit different, but anyway. As you can see, there is a green Publish Now button here, but not here. And we thought maybe this is somehow connected and something can change for the better. If we press this button, it can't get any worse, right? And we click the button. It happened on the evening on December 9, and from that moment until the release, the game hung in a very strange state when DLC was available. The page looks the same as it is now. The Add to Cart button was available, but the player couldn't buy it, because DLC cannot be bought without the base game, and the base game was unreleased. And as we can see, the release date of the DLC is December 9, and the release date of the base game is December 10. And that added a little bit more panic, and we wrote to Steam support again. The second hypothesis was that it should be exactly 10 a.m. on December 9 PST, not just December 9 PST, but exactly 10 a.m. That time has come and nothing has changed, and the third hypothesis has emerged. It consisted of this. Here on the screen we can see that firstly, confirmed build from Steam must be a prerequisite for a release, and also the game must hang in the coming soon section for at least 2 weeks. But here is a question that is not very clearly covered in the documentation. What happens if we send a build to Valve? It will be approved and we upload another build after that, but before the release. Because that's exactly what we did. And here is a confirmation screenshot. We uploaded the last build on December 5th. The correct answer is nothing will happen, the release date will not be moved, and after Valve confirms your build, you can ship as many builds as you want. Being upset, I went to bed, waking up many times during the night and checking if anything has changed, but nothing has changed. The next day comes and this is how we see the page of our base game. As you can see here, the date is December 10. This date turned out red for some reason, but anyway. Which means yesterday it was December 9 on the calendar and in the developer's console as the earliest possible release date, and today it became December 10 in the calendar and in the developer console. It was a lot of fun, and it added to the panic, and we wrote to support again. The response from the support appeared on the evening of Friday, December 10, and this is a screenshot of what we wrote to support. I won't read it out loud. If you want, you can put it in pause, but I've already told you about everything more or less. And here came the response from the support. Let me first read it and then I'll try to explain. Hey, thanks for following up on this. Your game got stuck in a really weird state. Here's what happened. First, you submitted prices on the game. Valve processed your prices, but you never published them, so they were hanging in their unpublished state. Then later on, you asked us to transition the game to be free to play, and we did. However, the backend was still stuck on those never published prices, even though the package was now free. The system knew that there were unpublished prices pending and blocked you from the release. I went in and cleared out the prices and that pending state, and then switched the game back to free again as intended, and you can now release it when you're ready as a free-to-play game. Cheers! And a little explanation of what support replied. The prices in Steam are set in several steps. First, they need to be configured, to be sent to Valve, and then Valve confirms them, and then the prices need to be published. The last step takes place either automatically or manually, and we choose the latter. As I said in the very beginning, at first we thought that the game would be paid, but then we changed our mind. By the way, this cannot be changed from the UI, you must conduct support. After we changed the game from the paid to free with the help of support, the price has remained in an unpublished state. But if the game remained paid, then the published prices are a prerequisite for the release of the game. This means that something broke inside the Steam and unpublished prices prevented the publication of the free game, for which this condition is not mandatory. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, without the help of support, we would not have figured it out ourselves. Almost 2 days of agony and panic led to the fact that on the evening of December 10, we finally released the game. Hooray! What conclusions can we draw? First, something can always go wrong. Even if we are sure that everything is fine, that we have prepared for everything, that we have already passed this path and everything should work, unfortunately things can always go wrong. Second, there must be a plan in case of a failure. We released on Thursday just because it was important for us that Steam support worked at the time of the release, just in case something goes wrong. Because if we had released on Friday, we would have received the nearest response from support on Monday, and 2 days of agony would have turned into 4. The next time we will definitely do the release somewhere between Monday and Thursday. And in general, there is an unspoken rule among developers: do not release on Friday or before the weekend or before the holidays. Because something can go wrong and no one wants to deal with such problems on Friday evening or on weekends. A small PS. The second reason why we put the release on December 9th is because December 10th I had to move to a new apartment, which was unfurnished. It was impossible to move the date of the move, so I moved on December 10th and pressed the release button on the laptop, which was placed on the washing machine box. That's briefly all I wanted to tell you. I hope you were interested and I whined a little bit. Thank you very much. Bye.